Okay, so I'm gonna run through the hands of a tournament I played online recently. So this is going to be it's a turbo tournament, so the blinds go up very fast, and I want to show you sort of. So this is basically one of the toughest tournaments online, I would say. It's a $215 buy-in on PokerStars, which is basically the hardest site probably. So this is basically a very high level. So this is like a very high buy-in online turbo tournament, and I want to show you sort of what the dynamics look like, and sort of show you, just how often people are going all in, and the types of things that happen to sort of just emphasize once again that especially in a turbo tournament, it gets to a point where everyone has very small number of bets, and it's very important to go all in a lot. So I'll start out. So I'll start out by only going through the hands that I do play, and I'll try to go through all the hands at the end. So the tournament's actually kind of stupid. So basically, if you notice on the first hand, I paid $215 to get 2 big blinds, right? So it's kind of stupid. I actually don't think I don't even think my advantage in this tournament is enough to justify playing it given the house edge. So, but whatever. So the point is, you notice how small everybody's stack is. Okay, so the first hand I play, I get ace-7 offsuit under the gun. I have 2 big blinds, and I just put all the money in. So I get called by. So I mean, this is kind of, it looks kind of stupid where everyone's all in, but this is basically what should be happening when your number of big blinds is this small. There should be multiple people going all in every hand, because the antes and the big blind is so big compared to your stack size. Okay, so and I mean, the big blind is basically committed to call. And so we look at their hands. I would say basically everyone played their hand correctly. Maybe this guy with queen 10 is a bit sketchy. Yeah, maybe the guy with queen 10 is a bit sketchy, but it's not even that bad. Like king queen, when we only have 2 big blinds, is definitely good enough. And this guy had pocket kings, and the big blind, even though his hand wasn't good, he just had odds because he already posted the big blind. So, anyways, I get lucky enough to win the entire pot because my 7 plays and his 5 does not play. So, okay. Okay, so we win. So I one second, it's frozen. Why won't it go there? Okay, so so the next hand I play, the cutoff goes on for 5 big blinds, and so against someone in this class, I think this would be an easy fold. But against this guy who I played against a lot, and I know that he's going to be shoving enough from the cutoff that this is definitely a call from the big blind. So yeah, he happens to be ahead, and unfortunately he stays ahead. So I lose a pretty big one. I'm down to very little. Okay, the next hand is stupid. I get aces. Obviously, I put it all in. I double up. Okay. Here it's folded to me in the cutoff with 4 big blinds and king 10 of diamonds. Very easy all in. Yeah. Okay, so I'm surprised the big blind folded, because his odds are very good. So he must have had a very bad hand. I would expect him to call there with, I mean, in this tournament where people are calling close to the Nash range, I would expect him to call with something like 70-80% of hands there. So I'm pretty surprised he folded. Oops. Ugh, how do I? Okay, let me try to. This is pretty annoying. Okay, this hand I do play. So this guy calls, and I go all in, and he folds, which is pretty uncharacteristic of a tournament with this high a buy-in online. It's pretty, yeah, I mean, here basically he should never be calling and folding. So, I mean, I see this quite a lot when I watch the class play. So this is something that you don't want to do at all. And this is basically just, giving away your money. So he folds here. And even though I have a great hand, I'm definitely happy he folded. I mean, if he has ace-jack, then I guess he wouldn't, I guess he made a good decision given that I had ace-queen. But, for the most part, if he has like Jack 10, I'm definitely glad he folded. Okay, so I blind out for a bunch of hands. Okay, here, one sec. Yeah, so here I fold pocket 4s because this guy raised. which I think is close, which I'm not even sure is the right play. I with only 3 big blinds, I think maybe I should have just gone all in. Okay, here with 9-7 suited and 2.5 big blinds under the gun, I go all in. I get called by both of them, which I think the king deuce suited call is actually wrong. This call is definitely fine because he had odds. He already posted the big blind. The king 2 suited call is definitely sketchy because even though his hand is good, he didn't already put in any money, and he still has a bunch of hands before he sees the blind. So I think his call was wrong. But I river a 9, so I stay alive. Okay. Okay, so this guy calls, and I go all in here. This is kind of a gutsy play, but I just think this guy, based on his pattern, he's never calling here. And I'm right, he folds. So here I go all in with the small blind. Yeah, so as you can see, I mean, I had to win some all-ins, but just by, winning the pot pre-flop, I went from 60,000 chips in this hand to having 96,000 chips at the start of this hand, right? I didn't have to win an all-in between here and here, but just when your chip stack is so small, the percent gain you get by getting the blinds is so high that you just need to risk it a lot. Here they go all in, I get it in, I win. That's not interesting. Okay, so here I just go all in, even though I'm a big stack now. I have more than 15 big blinds because everyone behind me has less than 15 big blinds. So the effective stack size is still only something like 8 big blinds. So I just get it all in, and they all fold. Okay. The next hand, ace-9 suited. This looks kind of like a crazy all-in under the gun with 16.5 big blinds under the gun, ace-9 suited. But once again, the effective stack size is only 8 big blinds, and most other people only have 5, so this is definitely a fine to risk, and I just keep winning the blinds. Okay, here, I think this call is probably sketchy on my part. I don't think this was quite right. This guy, I think he was fairly tight, and I wasn't really paying attention, and I thought I had good enough odds, but I get really lucky here, yeah. But I don't think that was good. Okay, what happened this hand? Oh yeah, so I made a very big fold here, which I think is probably still wrong, but this player is very tight, so I fold here, which I think is pretty insane. Against almost all players, I would just go all in here, but I fold here and give it to him. Oops, I'm not in that hand. Okay, so yeah, so the tournament goes very fast because it's like a hyper turbo. So here I go all in ace-9 offsuit, definitely good enough. Here, even Jack-10 offsuit, when everyone else behind has so few chips, is definitely worth it, and they all fold. Especially when it seems like the players I've been playing against, maybe they're just getting really bad hands, but it seems like they're not calling anywhere near what they should be. Here, once again, I go all in with ace-4 offsuit from the cutoff, and the effective stack size is like 7.5 big blinds. So, okay, the next hand, I go all in, I get caught, and he stays ahead. But yeah, but that's definitely still the right play. Here I fold. Yeah, here I think I fold because I can't really go all in because Jeff 7-10 has too many chips. So okay. Oh, why didn't this hand show up? Oh, okay. I don't know why that hand didn't show up. Okay, so I went all in here with king queen. The big blind had no chips. He needs to call anyway. Here I go all in and get lucky that someone else picks up ace king. Okay, so those hands are pretty. Yeah. So basically, the point is there's a lot of going all in. So this is already. Unfortunately, I can't. One sec. I'm gonna try to hide my. Okay, there we go. So, okay. So this is the final table. So we're almost done. Okay, so the next hand, I get ace king. I call an all in and win against king jack. So as you can see, basically, everyone's just going all in. People aren't really messing around, right? Like, because for the reason I said earlier that you're just giving someone more options if you don't go all in. So he goes all in, I call, and fortunately, I stay on top. Okay, I think I can play. Maybe not. There's still a lot of hands. Okay, from this hand on, I'm going to play every hand in the tournament. so this is the final table. There's 5 of us left. So as you can see, I have 20 big blinds. This guy has 5. This guy has 24. This guy has like 4, and this guy has about 10. So 8-7 suited. Here I don't go all in. I'm just going to raise and get away if either Jeff 7-10 or this Greg 3-3. If he goes all in, it's close. If Greg goes all in, it's close whether I have odds to call his all in. I probably don't, just to be risk adverse, even though I think it's probably positive chip EV to call his all in if he goes all in. And I'm definitely folding to Jeff 7-10. So here I don't go all in because I want to be able to fold if one of these two guys goes all in. So against certain opponents, if I know that my opponents will take advantage of that and will just re-raise me a lot because they know I have to fold a lot, then I would just probably fold this hand instead of doing anything with it. Okay, but I take it down. The next hand, this guy goes all in. I think I probably have close to odds here to call, but not quite, so I fold. So as you can see, I'm considering calling here, even though it's a 5 big blind shove. Like, basically, when it's a 3 big blind shove, you should never be folding your big blind. And I still people fold their big blind quite often. And you just always have odds to call, basically. So here I still considered calling, but I think folding it's not quite good enough. Here I go all in and he folds. This guy goes all in. Right, so yeah, I'm playing through every hand just so you sort of see what the dynamics look like. Here I just go all in because the blinds went up. So I mean, I think there's 2 ways to play this hand. One is just go all in, and 2 is raise it to 80,000 and fold if Jeff 7-10 goes all in. But I chose the former because I didn't really want to fold when he went all in and give him an opportunity to steal the pot from me. So, but I think both ways to play the hand are fine. Okay, and this guy does call. So yeah, he even called with the worst hand, but this is definitely a correct call because he only has 2 big blinds. So I would call there in his shoes with any 2 cards. Okay, and I happen to stay ahead. The next hand here, Jeff 7-10 raises to 80,000 instead of going all in, and I basically try to punish him and put the pressure on him, and he folds. Okay, the next hand I go all in here, and I'm basically pretty sure this guy. So I don't know what the Nash is exactly, but it's got to be for him to call at least like 95% of hands. So unless he had like one of the worst 5% of hands, but he folds. Okay, next hand, Ace Jack. I just go all in once again. Ace Jack is good enough. I could have just raised to 80,000 and hoped that Jeff 7-10 would do something and go all in, and then I would be able to call him. So I could do that. That's a less risk averse way to play the hand. I'd say it's more EV to play it like that. But I wanted to take the safe route to just go all in. I definitely think the other way is more chip expectation, but this way is just more risk averse, and I don't want to I don't want him to go all in, I call, I lose, and then I lose another all in, and then suddenly I come 4th when this mad gambler guy only has 2 big blinds. So I just play it the way that minimizes variance. So as you can see, in this case, going all in myself actually minimizes variance because it results in fewer hands between us. If I raise to 80,000, it actually increases variance in this case because it allows him to make some bluffs from the big blind. It allows him to make some all-in bluffs, and it allows him to call and play the flop. So by going all in, he just has to fold unless he has a good hand. So it actually minimizes my variance by going all in here. So just to speak a bit more about this, if my hand was bad enough that I was going to fold to his all in, then it would be more risky to go all in. But since I know I'm not folding to his all in anyway, it's actually less risky to go all in because I don't let him go all in with a hand like Queen 10 that, even though I'm beating, can win against me. So I go all in to basically be risk averse. Here I go all in once again. They all fold. Here they just all fold. So I think at this point that everyone's kind of scared of me. They just let me win all the hands, which is pretty good. I get it all in here, but I lose. The next hand, I go all in once again. This guy calls with 10 Jack, and I lose once again. That's fine. I still have it. So even though I've lost the last 2, I still have a ton of chips just because they keep folding. I go all in again. They fold. He goes all in. I fold. Here he finally calls, but I hit a queen, which is nice. Here I finally fold a button because I think they're sort of catching on that I go on with any two cards, so I fold. Okay, so, but still, yeah, here they fold to me because I guess they're scared of me, which is very nice when you get this image. People are so scared of you that you can win the pot with 3-5 offsuit. Pretty good. I go all in, he folds. I go all in again, they both fold. He goes all in, I fold with 5-6. Okay, here he calls and he stays ahead. So now I'm a bit short. That was a big pot. I still have a decent amount of chips, but I fold. Yeah, here it's not good enough to call. My odds are pretty good, but I basically have one of the bottom 10% of hands, so I fold. Next hand we get queens, but no action. Queen king. He calls with king 10, which I think is definitely a correct call. It looks a bit crazy and it looks very risky, but he's the small stack anyway. So, and king 10 is definitely a good hand against how often I've been going all in. But he, unfortunately for him, I had a better hand, so I win that. Okay, he raises, I just fold. So now it's heads up, and I just raise to try to steal, but he goes all in, so I have to fold. So here, we actually have a bit more chips now. We actually have 20 big blinds. So I can definitely escape after making it 2 big blinds pre-flop. So he goes all in, I fold. Next hand, he just walks me, which is nice, but I had a good hand. So next hand, so my strategy here is basically going to be raise any 2 cards from the small blind because I think he just folds a lot. So that's sort of going to be my strategy. Unfortunately, he goes all in again, so I fold. Yeah, it's kind of weird how he doesn't raise his buttons because when it's 2 players, the small blind is actually in position post-flop against the big blind. So it should be at least in his interest to at least call or something and see the flop. But he keeps folding the button, which I think is a big mistake. Here I raise, planning so the other thing is once it's down to 2 players, there's no such thing as being risk averse, right? When it's down to 2 players, you're just playing for first. There's no such thing as being risk averse. So I just raise, hoping he re-raises so that I can call, but he folds. Next hand, so once again he folds the button. He's folding every button, which is pretty insane to me. I raise with kings. He calls, but he folds the flop. He folds the button again. I fold 1 button to him. Maybe I could have raised, but here it's getting kind of shallow where if we had like 20 big blinds, I would raise, but since he only has 12.5, I think it's a bit sketchy to raise because he can get it in with a lot more higher percent of hands. So I just fold. He folds again to me. So here with ace-9, I'm raising small to try to induce. So here with my very good hands and my very bad hands, I'm going to raise small and either call or fold to an all-in. And with my hands in between, like 8-7 suited, I'm just going to go all-in myself. But with ace-9, I think it's good enough where I can raise small to try to induce him to go all-in, and that's what I do. He folds, though. He goes all-in, I fold. Here, this is what I was talking about. Here, my hand is so bad that I don't want to risk going all-in. But I don't want to fold against a guy who folds a lot, so I'm just going to raise small and fold if he goes all-in. So this hand sort of balances my ace-9 hand. My ace-9 hand, I'm calling, and my 9-5 hand, I'm folding. And he folds. He goes all-in again, I fold. So here with 10-9, I just go all in. So you see, 10-9 is somewhere in between. It's not good enough to raise small and induce him to go all in, but I don't really want to raise small and fold to his all in, so I just go all in myself. So my paradigm, my strategy here was sort of raise small with my really good hands to induce, and raise small with my really bad hands as a pure steal, and go all in with my hands that are decent but not good. So that's what I do. He folds. He folds the button again. Queen 4, I don't think I should have given this to him. I don't know why I did. He's so tight, I should have just... Here I call with ace-2. He's been pretty tight, but I still think ace-2 is good enough. He has ace-10 though, so he holds. I'm pretty small now. Here with 4-9, I think this was a mistake. Even against a player who folds way too much from the big blind, I think 4-9 is just too weak. He does call me with king 5, which is surprising. I hit a 4, but I think this hand was a mistake. I don't think I should have. He goes all in now, so it seems like he's getting a bit looser now after seeing that I shoved with 9-4. It seems like he's playing more hands. He goes all in, pocket fours. I go all in. Not good enough to raise small and induce, so I just go all in. Yeah, here I fold this one to him. Maybe I should have called. This one is really close. He is pretty tight, but I still think this probably should have been a call. I folded to him though. Here I fold. I just give one to him. He starts folding the buttons again for some reason. Jack 9 off. I shove. He folds. He walks me again from the button. So he keeps folding his buttons, which I think is crazy. I raise. I win the pot. He raises. I give it to him. And I raise and he folds. He folds the button again. I raise and he folds. He folds the button again. So as you can see, when he, like over these 4 hands, you know, there wasn't even any all-ins, but just because he kept folding, I went from 900,000 to, sorry, how much did I start with here? I mean, so at the end of this hand, I had like 86, and by this hand, I had 110. So here I just go all in. The blinds went up, so this is actually only 9, 10 big blinds now. I go all in and he folds. He goes all in. I fold the worst hand. King high, I'm definitely just going all in. He folds. And the last hand I decided to call him because it seems like he's been going all in more, and I win. So so that's it. I just wanted to show you what sort of hyper turbo tournament should look like. Lots of all-ins, very few flops, and this is sort of what it converges to. Okay, so good, that's it. And Friday's lecture will be by Matt Harulenko. Okay.